International travel is more than just packing a suitcase and hopping on a plane. It's a powerful force that connects cultures, builds understanding, and fuels economies. When people from different parts of the world visit a new country, they bring with them not only their curiosity, but also their spending power, supporting local businesses from hotels and restaurants to shops and tour guides. This exchange creates a vibrant tapestry of shared experiences and mutual benefits. A healthy tourism industry is a sign of a country's openness and its positive relationship with the global community. It reflects a world where people feel safe, welcome, and eager to explore beyond their own borders, fostering a sense of global citizenship and shared humanity. However, the landscape of global travel is not static. It is constantly influenced by a variety of factors, including political climates, economic conditions, and social perceptions. In 2025, we are witnessing a significant shift in travel patterns to the United States. While the U.S. has long been a top destination for millions, a growing number of international visitors are now reconsidering their plans. This change is not happening in a vacuum. It is the result of a complex mix of new travel policies, diplomatic tensions, and evolving views on safety and social issues within the U.S., prompting travelers to look for alternative destinations. This emerging trend involves several key countries whose citizens are either actively choosing to avoid the United States or whose travel numbers have become highly unpredictable. For these nations, the decision to travel elsewhere is driven by a combination of practical concerns and deeply held values. From our closest neighbor Canada to long-standing allies in Europe and partners across the Pacific, the reasons for this pullback are varied but share a common thread: a changing perception of America on the world stage. Understanding these shifts is crucial for grasping the new dynamics of global tourism today. As we look closer at this phenomenon, we will explore the specific reasons behind the decline or volatility in travel from 7 distinct countries: Canada, France, Germany, Sweden, Australia, Denmark, and Japan. By examining the data and the stories behind the numbers, we can see how political disagreements, safety advisories, and social concerns are reshaping travel decisions. This analysis will not only highlight the challenges facing the U.S. tourism industry, but also reveal the alternative destinations that are benefiting from this significant change in global travel preferences. Nowhere is the shift in travel more pronounced than with America's closest neighbor Canada. Traditionally the largest source of international visitors to the U.S., Canadian travel saw a dramatic decline in early 2025. Air travel from Canada dropped by nearly 20% in April, while land crossings plummeted by over 35%. This downturn is directly linked to a growing political rift, marked by renewed trade tariffs and controversial political rhetoric. On Canadian social media, hashtags like #SkipTheStates2025 have gained traction, with travelers actively encouraging boycotts. Instead of heading south, Canadians are exploring other options, with travel to Mexico increasing by 15.6%, and destinations like Cancun and Lisbon seeing a surge in bookings. Across the Atlantic, France is also showing a clear trend of disengagement. French travel to the U.S. fell by 8% in March 2025, followed by an even steeper 12.2% drop in April. Business travel has been hit particularly hard. This decline reflects a deep shift in public opinion, with recent polls indicating that 73% of French citizens no longer view the U.S. as a reliable ally. This sentiment is visible in the marketplace, where sales of U.S. travel guides have fallen by a quarter. French tourists are instead flocking to closer, more familiar European destinations like Spain and Greece, or choosing French-speaking Quebec for their North American adventures. Germany's travel relationship with the U.S. has become notably volatile. After a staggering 28% decline in March 2025, arrivals did see a rebound in April, but the underlying trend shows significant instability, especially in the business sector, which fell by 23.5% in April. The German media has been filled with stories of German citizens facing unexpected detentions at U.S. borders, even with valid visas. In response, the German Foreign Ministry updated its travel guidelines, warning that entry is not guaranteed. With polls showing 78% of Germans now hold an unfavorable view of the U.S., airlines like Lufthansa are reallocating resources from popular California routes to destinations in South America and Scandinavia. In all 3 of these countries, the decision to avoid the U.S. is rooted in more than just inconvenience. It is a direct response to a perceived breakdown in diplomatic norms and trust. The combination of political friction and stricter border enforcement has created an environment where travelers feel unwelcome or uncertain about their reception. This has led to a clear redirection of tourist dollars, as Canadian, French, and German visitors opt for destinations where they feel more secure and valued, signaling a significant challenge for the American tourism industry, which has long relied on these key markets for a steady flow of visitors. For some countries, the decision to travel elsewhere is driven less by direct political spats and more by a clash of values. Sweden provides a perfect example of this trend. While overall tourist numbers have been volatile, a YouGov poll revealed that 63% of Swedes view the US unfavorably, citing major concerns over social issues like racial justice, LGBTQIA+ rights, and climate change policy. This ideological divide is influencing travel choices, with Swedish travel influencers and media actively promoting what they call value-aligned alternatives. As a result, many Swedes are choosing to visit countries they see as more progressive, such as Canada and neighboring Norway for their holidays. Australia, another long-standing partner, is also experiencing a stall in US travel. Leisure bookings have fallen significantly, with Australia's largest travel agency reporting a 16% drop. In contrast, trips to Japan, New Zealand, and Thailand are soaring. The Australian government has amplified these concerns by updating its US travel advisory multiple times since April 2025. These advisories specifically warn about increased scrutiny at the border and raise concerns for the safety of LGBTQIA+ travelers in certain regions. This official guidance has created a sense of caution among Australians, who are now opting for destinations perceived as safer and more welcoming. The situation with Denmark is particularly striking, showcasing how a specific diplomatic incident can have widespread effects. Danish travel to the US plummeted by 34% in March 2025 after news broke of alleged US intelligence operations targeting Greenlandic independence movements. The Danish foreign minister labeled the act unacceptable, and public sentiment soured quickly. This disillusionment has extended beyond travel, with sales of iconic American brands dipping in Denmark. Danish students, once keen on exchange programs in the US, are now showing greater interest in Canada and the Netherlands, reflecting a broader cultural and educational shift away from the United States. Finally, even in Japan, where tourist arrivals saw a modest increase, there are underlying signs of trouble. Business travel from Japan to the US dropped by over 19% in March, and student exchange participation is down 14%. Japanese media outlets have reported on professionals facing aggressive questioning at US customs, creating a chilling effect on corporate travel. In response, Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs upgraded its US travel advisory, citing increased social instability. As a result, major Japanese airlines are shifting capacity, adding more flights to Singapore and Paris while cutting back on some routes to the US West Coast, demonstrating a clear and strategic pivot. The collective decision by travelers from these 7 nations to avoid or limit their trips to the United States in 2025 has far-reaching consequences. For the US tourism industry, the impact is direct and deeply felt. The loss of visitors from major markets like Canada, Germany, and Japan translates into billions of dollars in lost revenue for airlines, hotels, restaurants, and local attractions. This economic shortfall affects jobs and livelihoods across the country, from the big cities to smaller tourist towns that depend on international visitors. The decline also sends a powerful message about America's global image, suggesting that the nation is becoming a less desirable place to visit. For the travelers themselves, these shifts represent a new chapter in how they explore the world. Instead of defaulting to iconic American destinations, they are discovering new places and enriching the tourism economies of other countries. Canadians are strengthening ties with Mexico and Lisbon, while Europeans are exploring their own continent more deeply or venturing to Canada. This diversification of travel is creating a more distributed and competitive global tourism market. Travelers are becoming more discerning, prioritizing not just sights and attractions but also a sense of safety, welcome, and alignment with their personal values when choosing where to spend their time and money. Looking ahead, the US faces a critical challenge to repair its image and rebuild trust with the international community. Simply waiting for tourists to return is not a viable strategy. It will require a concerted effort to address the root causes of the decline, including reassessing visa and entry policies, engaging in more positive diplomacy, and ensuring that all visitors feel safe and respected, regardless of their nationality or background. The tourism sector will need to be more proactive in its marketing, highlighting the diversity and welcoming spirit that has long been a hallmark of the American experience, to counteract the negative perceptions that have taken hold. Ultimately, this trend is a reminder that in our interconnected world, tourism is about relationships. A country's ability to attract visitors is a reflection of its standing on the global stage. The shifts we are seeing in 2025 are not just statistics, they are the collective voice of millions of travelers making new choices. As these patterns continue to evolve, they will not only reshape the map of global tourism, but also challenge the United States to reflect on its role and reputation in a world where travelers have more choices than ever before. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more travel insights.